Hello, this is Dr. Quek. In this video, we are going to talk about the design average recurrence interval, or in short form, the ARI. We are going to talk about the changes in the design average recurrence interval in MSMA 1 and MSMA 2. In MSMA 1, this is covered in table 4.1, the design average recurrence interval. In MSMA 2, this is covered in table 1.1, the design storm ARI. In MSMA 1, the major design ARI is defined as up to 100 years. Whereas in MSMA 2, the design ARI for the major storm is fixed at 100-year ARI. So that is the major difference. In MSMA 1, the major storm ARI is defined as up to 100 years. In MSMA 2, the design storm ARI is fixed at 100 years. So in MSMA 1, it gives some flexibility to the engineer to determine the appropriate design ARI based on cost-benefit analysis. Whereas in MSMA 2, the flexibility is not there. It's already fixed at 100-year ARI. So that is the major difference. In MSMA 1, for the low and medium and high density development, for minor storm is 2-year, 5-year and 10-year respectively. For the low, medium and high density development in MSMA 1 is fixed at 2, 5 and 10-year ARI for the minor storm. Whereas for the major storm is defined as up to 100 years, as I mentioned just now. But these have changed in MSMA 2. In MSMA 2, we only have two types of development. One is bungalow and semi-D, which has a minor ARI of 5 years, and link house or apartment with a minor storm of 10 years. For bungalow and semi-D, for the major storm, it is 50 years. But for link house and apartment, for major storm, the ARI is 100 years. So, the major difference between MSMA 1 and MSMA 2 is that in MSMA 1, we have three types of residential development: low, medium and high density development with minor storm of 2, 5 and 10 years. Major storm of up to 100 years. But in MSMA 2, we have only two types of residential development. It's either bungalow or semi-D or link house and apartment. For bungalow and semi-D, the minor storm is 5 years. Major storm is 50 years. For link house and apartment, the minor storm is 10 years. The major storm is 100 years. So comparing the two, you notice that the minor storm in MSMA 2 have increased. The major storm also have increased, except for bungalow and semi-D is kept at 50-year ARI. Next, let's look at commercial, business and industry. For this group of development, commercial, business and industry, these are grouped into either CBD or non-CBD type in MSMA 1. For the CBD type, the ARI is 10 years for the minor storm. For non-CBD type, the ARI is 5 years for the minor storm. And for the major storm, is all up to 100 years in MSMA 1. In MSMA 2, the classification is now different. In MSMA 2, now it's divided into the CBD and non-CBD now are grouped differently. They are grouped into commercial and business center, industry, industrial and building complex. These three types. So the ALI for the minor storm is 10 years for these three types of development. Whereas the ALI for the major storm is maintained at 100 years. Next, we look at open space. For open spaces, in MSMA 1, the minor storm is designed for 1 year. Whereas in MSMA 2, the spot field is designed for 2 years. So the minor storm also have increased from 1 to 2 years. But for the major storm in MSMA 1 is designed for up to 100 years. Whereas in MSMA 2, for spot field, is defined as 20 years. So there is a reduction. In MSMA 1, major storm is 100 years for open space. In MSMA 2, spot field is 20 years for major storm. So for 100, it has reduced to 20. And this is the only reduction in MSMA 2. As far as the ARI is concerned, this is the only reduction. The reason is, in MSMA 2, there's more emphasis on promoting the use of temporary storage like spot field and recreational area as flood storage. So that explains why in MSMA 2, the ARI have reduced to 20 years. Now if you look at MSMA 2, there is now a new category. It's called the infrastructure or utility. And this is defined with the ALI of 5 years for minor storm and 100 years for major storm. So in conclusion, in MSMA 2, the design ALI for the minor and the major systems have increased compared to MSMA 1. That is the major conclusion from our comparison here. Okay, thank you very much.